I just walk in the argument to one-way, why you mad? Girl, why you was sick? I do not want that. Came home to you only, you stuck like glue. If I caught that Hellcat, girl, you get one too. For me and you, I want you, I love you. Can I touch you? I rub, let me love you. Put my dreams to the side only cause I trust you. Girl, I trust you, I love you, won't judge you.
What's going on? SEVelocity back with the Milwaukee Bucks shirt, red Nike shirt. What's going on? We got some football and basketball to talk about. Some crazy news. Gambling's legal in New York now. Uh, don't develop too many bad habits, but something interesting on the table. We got playoff football upcoming, basketball All-Star game on the horizon, some All-Star voting, whole array of topics. Is Kyrie good at basketball? Of course he is. It's whether or not he's the most talented in his position. Um, plenty of stuff to mention. Would you like to say anything to the people before we begin into these topics?
What's going on, everyone? Hope y'all had a good week. Excited to be back here on the set with my man's here. Um, yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Crazy time for sports, especially you guys who are in DraftKings and FanDuel. Exciting time. Super Bowl is what in like a month. We got the wild card games this weekend, right?
Yeah, wild card
Yeah.
weekend.
Don't get too wild with the gambling, folks. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. So can't wait to go in there and discuss.
So wild card weekend for football, some say, is the best week of football because it is the most games that you have with the best teams left. Before they start getting to the final 4 to 6 teams. So, without further ado, let me talk about some of the matchups. Opening game tomorrow is tomorrow at 4 o'clock on NBC. We have the Raiders, Derek Carr and company getting it done against the Chargers. It was a big deal because if there was a tie, both teams could have made it. Instead, the Raiders chose to kick the field goal at the last second, eliminating their rival Chargers. Raiders make the playoffs and they will face the Bengals. As a result, also the Steelers and Big Ben in his final year clinched the playoffs, surprisingly, as a result of the Chargers' loss. Um, I think the Raiders are a good team. Derek Carr's great. Uh, it's just they got killed by the Bengals the last time they played a couple weeks ago, and I don't think that's going to change. I think Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, the LSU boys, plus Joe Mixon and the rest of their talent. I think it's going to probably be another non-close game. So we'll see how that goes. Going with the Bengals for the first pick. Um, you're welcome to throw a pick in there if you want. If you don't, I'll just roll through with it.
Nah, that's
Okay.
okay.
So the big game tomorrow night, can't wait for it, is we have the rival Patriots going against the rival Bills in Buffalo. The teams already faced off twice. Each team has won one game. This game's in Buffalo too. Patriots are 10-7. Bills are 11-6. Um, the temperature gonna be a factor. You have a rookie quarterback on the Patriots who played for Alabama before. Now he's in New England, and they're going to be traveling to Buffalo. It is supposed to be an average of 0 degrees in Buffalo during the game. So, going to be freezing temps out there. Be safe. We'll see how it goes. I know there's supposed to be some wind. Freezing temps means for some rough football. Going to go with the Bills in a close one, but don't count the Patriots out because Bill Belichick's a genius. I'll say Bills win by less than 5. All right, so then moving on to Sunday's games, we have a revenge game for Tom Brady and company. They will be facing off against not the Bills, sorry, the Eagles. Obviously, some bad blood there with what they've done in the past.
Oh, oh yeah, we don't have our secret weapon, but we still have the recipe to upset Brady.
Yep, you could stop it. The Bucks are going to win by 40.
We know the secret.
Here's the thing. You know the secrets, but Tom Brady is without a doubt pissed off and definitely is keeping this game circled on his calendar. So I think this is going to
we
be
need
interesting.
we need Nick Foles back.
Yeah, he's a Chicago Bear, and they are not in the playoffs. So
Yes,
sad.
that sounds like a free agent to me.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to say that the Bucks win by 10 at least. Um, Shout out to the Eagles for even making it though. That roster is depleted. We have the 49ers versus the Cowboys as well tomorrow. That's going to be pretty interesting. 49ers aren't that great of a team. They did finish 10-7. Cowboys finished 12-5. Cowboys are the heavy favorite here. But the thing is, the Cowboys are known to choke in the playoffs. So the game's in Dallas. 49ers are in Dallas to face the Cowboys. I'm going to say the Cowboys win, but man, it would be Dallas Cowboy-esque if they go and blow this game and lose.
And I think a certain someone would finally appear on First Take again.
Exactly. So,
Wait, I have a question about the wild card game format. How do you decide? How is it decided who participates in the wild card games?
okay. So the way it works is there's 32 NFL teams, right?
Yeah,
Each conference has 16 and 16.
yeah.
So what it used to be is 6 teams would make the playoffs, and the 2 best teams in each conference would get a bye week. They would get the week off, and then 4 teams on each side would compete in the wild card. Now with COVID, they made it so it's a 7-team playoff on each side, 14 teams total, 7 on each side. So only one team gets a bye week on each side, which is the Packers and the Titans had the 2 best records in the NFL. Well, the Packers had the best record in the NFC, and the Titans had the best record in the AFC because there was better teams in the NFC, kind of like the Western Conference in a sense. But since they're in separate conferences, it's whichever 2 teams are the top of their conference get a week off.
Mm.
Um, and then the other 6 teams compete against each other. And since there's 4 divisions in each conference, it's the division winner from each conference makes the playoffs automatically. So like the Cowboys won their division. Packers obviously won their division. So those 4 teams all are division games, and then the last the last 3 slots are wild card spots. So those are just out of any division on each conference, teams that had the best record that didn't win the division. So it could be trickled anywhere. So like the Eagles from the AFC or NFC East, since they got second behind the Cowboys but had one of the best records in the conference, made the as a wild card. The 49ers is one of them as well, and then the Cardinals, who were 11-6, but the Rams were 12-5. So the Cardinals, 49ers, and Eagles are all wild card teams. As a result, though, of being a wild card, they're all forced to play on the road. So they're going to be playing against Eagles will be in Tampa Bay against the Bucks because they had a worse record. 49ers will be in Dallas since Dallas won the division. Um,
So it's essentially the equivalent to the first round of the playoffs.
yeah,
In
kind of in a
NBA.
sense,
Okay.
but instead of a series, it's one game.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. And in football, it's tough because, well, I mean, it's the same in basketball. Anyone can win at any time usually, but for one game, anything can happen in that one game.
Yeah.
So there could be any array of upset. And then the final 2 games, you have Big Ben in what's going to be his final game, most likely against the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, because he's probably getting eliminated. They lost by 30 to the Chiefs earlier in the year. Big Ben's final game will likely be in Kansas City against the Chiefs tomorrow night. And then the first ever Monday night playoff game, Rams versus Cardinals, which they're division rivals and they only have 1 game separating them on their record. So that's going to be a really good game because they hate each other. I'll go with the Chiefs, obviously, in that game over the Steelers, and then I'm going to take the Rams over the Cardinals. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Matt Stafford are going to get it done in LA. Also, quick thing that's worth noting: Super Bowl is in LA this year.
It's going to be a warm Super Bowl.
Yeah. Not sure if everyone can hear my dog barking at the door. he was just barking on the inside of the door to get out of the room. So I closed the door, and now he's barking to get back in. But he'll be fine. He'll live. He'll probably want to be by my mom anyway, so not gonna move and let him in. It's gonna be just a distraction. Now moving on to a few quick notes, NFL notes. A bunch of coaches were fired. I'm trying to think of what it's called. I think it's called Dark Monday, which is the Monday after the last games of the season. Usually, coaches are notoriously getting fired. All the worst coaches. Uh, so
Oh man.
we have the Texans fired David Culley, which is really interesting. He was the Ravens' assistant when he was hired last year for the Texans. They didn't have Deshaun Watson all year. Obviously, he didn't want to play, and there's charges that no one knows about. The circumstances of that. He gets fired after 1 year. Usually, you get 2 years as a head coach. So that was really rare. So David Culley out for the Texans. Urban Meyer, the Jaguars head coach, was fired halfway through the year in his first season. Terrible coach. He was a great college coach. Came out though to the NFL, made a bunch of mistakes. Didn't even travel with his team once. Gets caught at the bar. Fired. The Vic Fangio was fired. That's the Broncos head coach. Brian Flores was fired. That was a huge shock. That's the Dolphins head coach. The Dolphins head coach went 5-11 in his first year. No one ever does good in their first year. Second year, he goes 10-6. 10-6. And then the third year, he goes 9-8. So he has a record above 500, and they fired him. So I thought that one was really interesting. And then the Giants fired Joe Judge, their head coach. So 5 new coaching positions wide open in the NFL. We'll see who get those. I think all of them were pretty much deserved, probably except for Brian Flores and the Dolphins. We'll see where they go. And I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, one big note I will throw out there. For the Titans, Derrick Henry had foot surgery, I think, 8 weeks ago, and it was expected he'd be out for the year. He's probably the best running back in the NFL. He's like 6'2", 270 pounds of muscle. He's a freight train. He had foot surgery, and he was expected to be out for the season. Supposedly, he is 1 week from his return, and the Titans have off this week for the playoffs because they got the top record. So if that man is back, that team was dangerous when he was playing. Otherwise, they're probably in for some trouble. Now, I think I've covered pretty much everything in terms of football. I will say I want to see the GO Aaron Rodgers make the Super Bowl this year because he is on a warpath and likely leading MVP candidate. Him and Tom Brady, ironically. But should be fun NFL playoffs. We'll see how it goes. First game's tomorrow. And I will miss half of one of the games, so a little bit upset about that. But other than that, that's football. So let's go to basketball.
All right, everyone. As you know, stepping into my realm, or the realm we share, I'll say. I'm still a student of the game of football, but in the games I watched this year, I'll say I have developed more of an appreciation for it. But it's frustrating not really knowing it like I know basketball, but I have to sit there and remind myself it took me years to like know basketball the way I am now, so I got to be patient. But yeah, what to kick off basketball? I think we should start off with the New York Knickerbockers.
The GOATs! Let's talk about the
Yeah,
best
this
team in
is
the NBA.
a little revenge since since I know you've had a lot of fun ridiculing the Sixers in our past episodes. The back to the Knicks. Don't you just love it when when your so-called superstar, your best player, shouts out some profanity at fans? Well, he didn't shout. It was in a press conference, or he might have said not press conference. He said it out in the media, but not in the game, hushing them
Don't
for
forget the
booing
thumbs down
him.
things.
Yeah, yeah, for booing him in the Knicks. and the rest of the Knicks squad, which I mean, it's not anything we haven't seen before. Knicks with Knicks fans like the article, you're either the greatest thing to ever walk the planet, or you're the worst thing ever to have stepped foot in New York City. Um, super temperamental fan base, but hey, I mean, Julius, that's not the way to do it. Like even I was laughing like crazy because I found that hilarious because I've never seen that before. Someone do that to their home crowd. But at the same time, I'm like Julius, that he deserved to get fined first of all. And secondly, you don't do that, Julius. Like, come on.
Let me look at my watch here. I think it was exactly a year ago today where Knicks fans were chanting MVP while he was at the foul line.
And we could even go a bit further back. Kristaps Porzingis' draft not getting booed
Who?
had an incredible rookie season, and I believe his name got changed to Porzingod.
I don't know who that is.
And then upon departure, once again, he was just a worthless player.
I just want to throw it out there since you mentioned Porzingis, and I know I already told you this, but for all of you sports gamblers out there, there was a guy who had a bet for $75,000. It wasn't like how much money he put down. He put down like $150 or whatever, and he needed everything to happen. And the last thing he needed was Porzingis to be the first one to score the first basket in his basketball game. And he missed a wide open layup with no one near him, and the guy lost $75,000.
Gotta love it.
Never forget. Sometimes you watch stuff like that and you think, did someone go out there and tell him to just completely miss that? But who knows? But hey, Julius Randle, you know what? I wish Ben Simmons was giving the thumbs down to the Sixers fans while he was out on the court, but
He hasn't been out on the
I
court
know.
since. Yeah.
So I think that Knicks fans, like you said, are very temperamental people. So anything they do, I think from his perspective especially, is when you listen to him boo, you just feel like, okay, well, it's going to be different the next night when I'm playing well. It doesn't matter. Um, so I don't think it's something he should take to heart, but I don't really mind him responding and letting the fans know you should have my back 24/7, not just when times are good. But hey, I get it. I mean, I don't like losing either as a Knicks fan, so it's a process. That's why we get to watch Giannis every once in a while. Put a little bit of a smile on my face.
Yeah, it's funny. I recall New York Stand Up and Stephen A. Smith last year rolling into this year. They had a really good start, but right on cue, we're getting to the halfway point of the season.
Well, now we
And
get to talk about them
yep,
bringing in
yep,
a legend.
from the infamous three-headed dragon from the Duke University, Cam Reddish,
Two down,
taking
one to
on
go.
yeah, whose name was. I'm not gonna say he was completely dismissed, but the stars of the show in Duke was obviously R.J. Barrett and Zion, but Cam, everyone knew that he was also a talent in his own right. Couldn't coexist with those two, but now he's gonna be coexisting with R.J. Barrett
I think
of
he's
the
the
New
most
York Knicks.
versatile. Like, I mean, you could probably say Zion's the most athletic
Yeah,
when he's on the court and he's
yeah,
not gaining weight.
yeah. I gotta say, one plague. I think Zion's probably the most versatile.
Um, and we don't
Cam's
know
the
what
best.
his court shape's gonna be like, but
Cam's the best shooter for sure.
Cam's the best shooter. He's also got that I don't know, tall and like lengthy kind of vibe. Which
Yeah.
and I know he's not crazy tall or anything, but like RJ Barrett's not that type of shape. So I don't know. I think
Yeah.
RJ's more of a he can make some like a shot creator, but I think he's just very much I don't know a scorer. I don't think he could do a lot outside of that. Not me roasting him. He could be better than Cam Reddish. It's just he either shoots and scores 30 points, or he goes 0 of 10 and scores like 5 points. So I like Cam Reddish because I think he's a bit more consistent, and I think him and RJ Barrett as a duo, chemistry wise, will definitely help on the
the
floor.
the interesting thing too. because like I actually sat there and wondered, wait, is RJ still better than Cam right now? I mean, statistically, it's supporting RJ, so he does average more points and stuff than him. But for some reason, like when I watch on the floor, it could be also that RJ plays a bigger. Yeah, do you think he plays a bigger role for the Knicks as they have the higher usage rate, had the ball in his hands more on the Knicks than Cam does have on the on the Hawks?
More is
Because I know number
expected from him.
yeah, the number one option is obviously Trey Young. Number two, John Collins, and
Um,
then he's just it's like he's in the fold with the role players with like Huerter to like hit threes.
yeah. And like
Yeah.
I like Barrett. The problem is he's so inconsistent. Like the last game we played against Dallas, he had 32 points and he was 13 to 22 shooting. But like I'm pretty sure if you go to the game before that, he had like 10 points. It's you see these flashes of brilliance and then they just
Mhm.
vanish. So I just hope that he's able to kind of unlock his full potential. Um, because once he can get to a threshold of I'm the star of this team, it makes everyone's life easier. It makes Cam Reddish's life easier now that he's here. It makes Julius Randle a perfect number two option. And then guys like Evan Fournier are your spot up shooters, and Mitchell Robinson is your rebounder. And you kind of can ride around Julius Randle and RJ Barrett and Fournier shooting as your primary scoring instead of forcing Julius Randle to score a lot on his own.
And and another thing that'll help if Julius Randle kind of gets this whole like small ball logic out of his head and plays like a big man like he should. Like it's okay to handle the ball sometimes, but if you want to be on the perimeter dancing with it like you're Allen Iverson somewhere, then that's not you. You're only helping the other team.
The problem is he is the same height as Cam Reddish as a power forward, and that's a little bit troubling. Um, he's 6'8" as a power forward.
Oh,
Randall.
yeah, yeah, but he's big. He's big and strong. I mean, I feel like a lot of the power forwards in the league now, they're not really that tall. Most of the really tall ones are playing center. Like, I feel like a lot of them now are like about maybe 6'9" ish.
Hey, I would still die on the hill that you run two centers or two very big men. That your team's going
Hmm.
to be very successful,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
Jared
yeah,
Allen and Evan Mobley.
yeah. As we proved to the audience, like in our earliest, some of our earlier podcasts, rebounding wins basketball games.
I just want to tell some of the fans out there. Ricky Rubio's out for the year. Um, Colin Sexton's out for the year. Darius Garland's still playing. He's doing pretty well, but not like amazing. And then Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are healthy. And that team, the Cavs, are
Six,
24 and 18. They're sixth in the
six,
East.
six in the East.
Without a lot of just straight up scoring. And I'm telling you, it's the rebounding.
Sorry, this is going to be a subtle shot, but when Kyrie was on the Cavs without LeBron, he never brought them to that point. Never brought them to the playoffs, and the East was even weaker back then.
Um, I want to also give a few shout outs to top performing teams this week. Or teams that are looking hot.
I think
Um,
I know one of them you're going to say, but go on.
well, we're gonna start with the Miami Heat. I think that
Okay,
they're on a
that's my
3 game win
philosophy.
streak,
Yeah,
and now out of nowhere they're kind of second in the East, and
he,
they were always in
so
playoff contention, but now they're second in the
mm,
East standings.
last I saw, I know Jimmy had gotten hurt, like he had rolled his ankle or something. But is he back?
Who?
Jimmy Butler,
Who?
the best player in the East.
Whoa!
Oh, you reacted that.
Sorry to hear the news about Kevin
Is he
Durant.
back? Is he back?
I don't know. I'm looking.
Okay.
He is still out. He's questionable for tonight's game against the Hawks.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine. Between him and Kyle Lowry, they've been like getting these small injuries like throughout
they
the
must
season.
they must be better without him because they're on a 3 game win streak.
Oh my god.
um, okay, so that's one team I want to mention. I think I'll throw the Nets a little bit in there, more just because Kyrie's returning, and
That game against the Bulls, yeah,
yeah,
we
that
both
Bulls game was a
agreed on.
statement game too, winning by 30 over them.
Kyrie didn't even really play well either.
I'm not going to mention the Bulls. They're still the top of the East, but that one game is on my mind.
There's- All right. There's another. I think you have another team in mind. I
Well,
think I know
I
what
would be
you're gonna
pretty
say.
dumb not to mention this team. The Grizzlies absolutely deserve to be
Yeah.
mentioned. They're on an 11-game win streak, and
Yeah.
Ja Morant, that man is so
He's
good.
he's taken off like oh we see like all of these young stars in every generation they all have that year that 1 year where they start to take off and their names get brought up in like bigger conversations. John Morant's taking his game off this year. This is his third season, right?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, his third season. First of all, it started off between the end of last year when, as people forget, it was him and the Grizzlies who sent Steph and the Warriors home in the play-in round, last year. Then this year, he got injured like really early on, hurt my fantasy team a lot. Okay, it came back and he's killing it like crazy. Like he's
It's
doing even better than he was before his injury.
it's like Mario Party. Anyone who's played Mario Party before with the board games and stuff, they show the graph at the end of the game as each star you get against your competitors. It shows the graph of your likelihood of winning, and it's just
Mhm.
like John Morant just I don't know, just took off and just took this massive jump, and he's just
Yeah, we
killing
like
people.
they're looking at the roster on paper. They don't have Steven Adams either. He's hurt. But they're looking at the roster on paper. You wouldn't even think you would think if at best if they make the playoffs, just maybe like the eighth spot, maybe. But watching this group, like they're a young team, and boy, they can play that transition ball. Like they're a fast-paced team, and we know with fast-paced, Ja can outrun pretty much any other NBA player out there.
Wait, where's is Rondo on the team? Is he playing? Rondo
I
got traded
forgot.
somewhere, right? Was he traded
Yeah,
there?
he did get traded. I completely forgot.
I'm
Let me
looking.
check
I'm
real
looking.
quick.
I don't think he's playing. But I will say some people to give some credit to. Dylan Brooks has been really good for them. He's averaging 18 a game, and
Mhm.
Desmond Bain has been phenomenal. And those guys are both 23 and 20. I believe 23 and 25, and are averaging 18 and 17 points a game. Not to mention, obviously, Jaren Jackson, who's been there a while, who's only 22, is averaging 16 a game too. I mean, so that means your top four scorers, your oldest top scorer out of those four is 25, and two of them are 22, and are averaging 20 a game. That team is so young and talented, but no one sees it yet because they're just kind of reaching that phase where they're taking the next step to being I'm going to say a full-time playoff team soon. Um, we're going to
Rondo's on
start
the Cavs.
seeing who they are. He's on the Cavs, right?
Yeah. I do have one peeve though about Jaren Jackson Jr. And I mean it's not major, but I just hate seeing like he's 6'11". He's an inferior rebounder.
Yeah,
Like that's my problem with him. He offensively, like he's skilled, he's athletic, he could get to the rim. He's a great shooter as a big man, and he's a pretty good shot blocker as well.
I really
But
like Desmond Bain because he
yeah,
I don't know. He's 23. He's a shooting guard. He's averaging 5 rebounds a game, and he's also getting 2 or 3 assists and averaging 18 points a game. But like I said, Ja, and Jaren Jackson are both 22. Desmond Bain's 23, and then Dylan Brooks is 25, and they average 16, 17, 18, and 25 points a game. And the oldest is 25. That's crazy.
but that just reminded me. I had texted you as soon as I heard his hot take from the legendary Isaiah Thomas from Bad Boy Pistons State. He jumped the gun on this. He says right here, right now, this year, John Morant is the best point guard in the league over Steph Curry. That's that's going too far now. But but to me, I have him as a top five point guard in the league right now.
I think he's the best point guard in the league right now. But the,
You what? I'm
before I get
surprised.
overly reactionary, I want to say I mean by pure point guard. Like Steph
Well,
Curry
Yeah.
statistically is yes the best point guard in the NBA. But like all around point guard, distribution, dribbling, driving the lane, shooting the ball, I think John Morant currently
And
is the best point guard in the league.
in defense, obviously.
Yeah, and defense.
Yeah.
So obviously
Yeah.
Steph is still statistically and the impact he has on the game is the best point guard in the league. But the best at the current position for everything a point guard's supposed to be, I think John Morant's the best.
John's the one who's exemplifying the position,
Yeah.
but in terms of just the best player who's listed at that position, we still have to give it to
Yeah,
Steph.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. So just for clarification, he's saying like he's the best. John's the best player who's playing most like a traditional point guard.
He's being like Chris Paul, but
Yeah,
better.
yeah, like Chris Paul, yeah, he's being a hybrid of the traditional point guard skills and like the current day point guard skills. And
it's
like it's funny, I always say with Steph is just an undersized shooting guard.
it's weird because with John Morant, I feel like you see a combo of Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, De'Aaron Fox, and I'm trying to think. There's probably somebody else that I'm missing. But like a combo of those three guys, like he's got like the athleticism and the
Mm. I gotta
dribbling
give,
and traffic ability similar to Russ. But
but better handles.
I'm sorry, Kyrie's handles. That's what I wanted to throw in
Yeah.
there. Um,
Okay, I can make it simple for you. Like we don't have to. You could only put in two names. He's playing like CP3 and vintage Derrick Rose.
yeah, that's fair.
That's literally
It's
what he
fun to
puts
watch.
together. Yeah, cause here's the thing. Like Westbrook, we were always in on his like extreme explosive play, but Ja had that explosiveness, but he had the agility and control with it too, like changing directions in midair.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't just always rise up and dunk over players. He'll just do that quick reverse and stuff like Derrick Rose. But his body, he does it responsibly too. Like his body can actually handle it, and he's not hurting himself every time he lands.
I think John Morant's starting to learn how to not miss dunks too now, so that's good. He's
Well, right. In his defense, a lot of the dunks he was missing because he kept trying to dunk over big men. How'd you feel, Kevin Love?
put him in the dunk contest.
He really could have win it too.
I just want a
I
good
don't
dunk
love
contest this year.
I just love watching Ja though. Like when he takes off on that fast break. It's funny when you look at him. He kind of reminds me of John Wall actually. Like 'cause we knew how fat John Wall is, but for some reason when we're seeing him, like when he starts taking off, it doesn't look like he's moving that fast. Like we don't see the legs like really moving like Westbrook's or Rose's, but just out of nowhere, you just see everyone else getting pulled behind it.
John Wall was gone too soon. Um,
Yeah, he
and
was
for those of you
he
who
was
don't
in
know who
peak
John Wall is, he's
also.
still alive, but he's kind of vanished into thin air. He's still in the
Yeah.
league, but he barely plays, and
His highlights were our high school days.
yeah, he was fun to watch. By the way, Willie Cauley Stein's better than Carl Anthony Towns. Um,
Okay.
sorry, that was an
You
argument I used to have a lot in high school. And clearly that doesn't hold up well now. Willie Cauley Stein is not better than Carl Anthony Towns.
hold time out. When did you ever say that in high school?
Wait, was Willie Cauley Stein in the same draft as Carl Anthony Towns?
I don't know. Why
I
would I
it
know
was
that?
it was whichever center was in the draft with Willie Cauley Stein. So it might be. I'm not sure if it was Jahlil Okafor too or Embiid. I have to look. 2015 draft. All right. I
Yeah.
said whoever was drafted ahead of him was not as good as Willie Cauley Stein. Yeah, it was Carl
Oh,
Anthony Towns and Jahlil Okafor. Okay, so I
oh,
said he was better than both of them, and maybe not so much Towns, but I was definitely right on Jahlil Okafor because that
yeah,
dude was trash.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I don't remember if I said over Towns or not. I know I for a fact I
I'm
said Okafor.
I'm pretty sure you didn't because he got Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and plus Towns looked really good coming out of college. It wasn't
Yeah,
like he didn't look worse than Cauley Stein, but I knew Cauley
yeah.
Stein would be better than Jahlil Okafor. And then D'Angelo Russell was second. Wow. And Porzingis was fourth. And the
All right,
GOAT Mario Hizonia at five.
all right. Really quick question for you. Who would you say just off the top of your head if y- like? Because I'm
Carmelo
sure you
Anthony.
probably need to make. I'm probably you probably need like a bit to think about it because I like how how much turmoil is going around the league. Who's your top five point guards in the league right now, in order?
In no particular order yet. Let me just get the
Okay.
list out here first.
Okay.
Um, Also, real quick, I'm gonna go straight ahead, and this is based off this current season performance. So Damian Lillard is not going to be in my top five, and I know
Okay.
that is controversial, but he is not playing well.
Yeah, because we know like resume and stuff that could make it complicated. We're just talking based on play this year.
Based off play this year, in no particular order, it is John Morant, Steph
Hmm.
Curry, Trey Young. Now this is
Hmm.
where it gets hard. I'm not considering Luka a point guard. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna agree with that. Like he's a point forward, and a point forward plays the point guard role. He's 6'7",
I don't know where
and
James Harden's playing too. Again,
yeah, because
if he's
Kyrie's
point
back.
guard, he would be in the top five, but
I
let's
will.
just assume he's not.
Yeah, I will always call him a shooting guard.
Um, 4 and 5, man. This is where things get rough. Um,
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul would probably be in there, even though his statistics wouldn't tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
5 is tough. I think 5 has two young options that could be 5,
I
and
think I know who you're thinking of.
um,
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox is one of them.
Yeah.
And I really like De'Aaron Fox. I think the two people, and whether people make a big deal of this that listen and watch the show, understand again, this is off of current season performance. So again, Damian Lillard is currently not performing phenomenally. I would say De'Aaron Fox or SGA, because
Oh,
I know he's considered
Shea
listed point
Gilgis
guard.
Alexander.
Um,
I'll give it to De'Aaron Fox.
yeah, I think De'Aaron Fox has been better though out of the two, easily. Everyone else though, I don't know. There's not been a lot of outstanding point guard play.
Y- Yeah. So, no, but if I had to put in order, I would go Steph, Ja, Trey,
CP3, and
yeah,
then probably
CP3
Fox.
and De'Aaron Fox. It's funny, between Ja and Trey, I know Trey right now have better overall stats. Like he averaging like what 28 points per game and like I think maybe 9 assists. But now when we look at like impact on the team, we're seeing that Trey right now he's getting like his stats getting his own, but he's not. It's like the team is not really like feeding off of like that playmaking from him the way that they are with Ja. Like we're seeing a direct correlation when Ja plays well, like the guys around him, like are play well too, and we see that similar effect with Steph as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to find if I can find a stats section that's solely for point guards. Because I want to throw Lamelo Ball into a conversation too. I don't think he's necessarily in the top 5, but he's super close because he also has a lot all around, and especially in
Yeah.
terms of distribution. Um, let's see, point guard stats. We're gonna get to the bottom of this right now. Let's see. All right, so currently, where's points per game? This is not the stats that I want. Okay, well that's not gonna help me. Um, all right, yeah. I guess I'll say Steph, then Ja, then Steph, Ja, Trey, Paul, Fox.
Yeah.
Same as you. Um, I really do feel like I'm missing someone. I will say I've kind of slowly considered Fred Van Vliet to be kind of a point guard, even though he's listed as a shooting guard. Um, and
Yeah.
he's doing extremely well too. It's just someone that doesn't get talked about much. He's averaging like 22 points a game.
Hmm.
Um, I don't even know. Who would your top 5 players in the NBA be right now, based off
Top
of
five:
this season?
LeBron, KD, Giannis. Mm, you see 4 and 5 where it get um Steph. Now number 5. Who would be at 5? Honestly, so basically you said so we're talking solely this season.
Hmm.
DeMar DeRozan.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, because I always think of like guys like Luca as well, but thing is he came in out of shape, but like he's putting up the same numbers. But
Luca's not doing
DeRozan,
spectacular either.
it's funny. He's not doing spectacular because we have such a high bar for him.
Yeah.
Because I know if we look at his stats right now, it probably looks identical to like the past couple years too.
Um. Hmm. Okay. What other topics did we want to cover?
Alrighty. Since we brought up Steph's name a lot, his recent shooting struggles since Klay Thompson came back. Now, throw in some context. Last night they played against the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis dominated that game, of course. Steph, he did not play very well at all. He played terrible, in fact. Let's see, where's his stats? Here it is. He had 12 points, 4 assists, and 8 rebounds. He was a minus 25 in the field. He was 2 for 6 from three. That's 33%, and 4 for 11 from the field. That's 36%. Um, Now it's funny. This is why I hate like reactionists, especially like certain people on first take. Whenever he sees like a 3-point shooter getting hot, they're the greatest thing to ever been created to in his eyes. That's Stephen A. Smith. As we both predicted, adding Clay Thompson back to this rotation, obviously we're not going to say Clay's making the team worse, but they had to like adjusted their offense in such a way to like work without him, essentially for the past 2 years. Like that's what people forget. It's been 2 years since we saw Clay Thompson play basketball. But in that time, we saw people like Jordan Poole like step up. So the overall rotations, different like lineups out on the floor, and people's roles like it shifted a bit. But now adding Clay back, it just disrupted that flow that they had. So I think that's really what it attributes to. Maybe also it could even be potentially fatigue because like Steph is similar to Giannis in this regard. He looks like every time he's out there on the floor, he's having fun. Like it's like he doesn't like just choose like one day say I'm not going to try. He's out there trying to essentially just shoot as much as possible. I mean, he broke his 3-point record, but maybe he burned all of that effort he put early on. Maybe his body is kind of saying, "All right, Steph, you need to chill out a bit." So it might be a slight fatigue there, because also got to point out he is 33 years old too. But
He he just needs to
go
break
ahead.
his record for load management. And
Oh my god. Yeah. Um, but the reason why I want to bring this up is because like it really annoyed me, and even you would agree with it and thought it was like way too early when like early on in the season when Stephen A. Smith, I think it was like 10 days in, he said that the Warriors are the favorites to go to the final period and win it all. Like
they were an
like
eight seed a year ago. That's
yeah,
ridiculous. I,
yeah,
I
and we're not
understand
even
Clay's
close to
back,
them.
but that's still ridiculous.
Yeah, and when it was based on one thing, just the 3-point shooting. That's all. Like you were looking at just 3-point shooting. Like we get it. The 3-point shot is the highest value shot in the game, and like when you're hot and you're a team, and that's a team that's essentially the best 3-point shooting team in the league. Like it's easy to stretch out leads and come back in a game, but like as we know in the game of basketball, like, even though this is the 3-point era, the other factors matter as well, and like you can't guarantee, especially in the playoffs, that Steph is gonna drain 10 threes every night.
No.
Like it's just not realistic either. So he was obviously jumping the gun there, and then other teams, maybe they just had a slower start. I mean, the Warriors, like 30-10, there's still. I think the Suns actually might have passed them this week,
Yeah,
but
they
they're
did.
still obviously a top one of the top three seeds in the West. They're obviously gonna be like one of the big fishes in the playoffs. But Stephen A. Smith was saying a lot of stuff, like saying, "Oh, maybe we should." He's saying that says Steph Curry is what is the Michael Jordan of this era, like like crap like that. It was all reactionist to like his shooting accolades. And it's funny, deja vu, because we seen this before back in 2015 and 16.
Um, my problem, especially with those overreaction takes, is like the Warriors winning the finals. Like, I understand the Warriors were great without KD before he got there, and they were even better with KD. But like, you have a guy that's coming off of a torn ACL who's been out for
Yeah.
the last 2 years. You have a guy who's breaking a ton of records and shooting threes, and that's great and that's really entertaining and all. But while everyone thinks that's some sort of massive advantage, I'm pretty sure that Steve Kerr is secretly thinking this isn't sustainable. This isn't going to win me playoff games every game. I need to
Yep.
find a way that this is going to work more consistently. So that's why they have guys around. Like that's why they put Wiggins there. That's why that Clay's. I'm taking Clay out of this conversation because we already know he's an all-star, and he's close to being a superstar. But he's an all-star, and we already have those expectations from him. But that's why that they're trying to make Jordan Poole kind of be able to do kind of similar stuff that Clay does, but in a more of a mobile way because he
Yeah.
dribbles a little bit more. They're trying to get better use out of Wiggins and kind of unlock his full potential. And they're
Yeah.
awaiting for the return of James Wiseman because they know they need that big man to get those rebounds for those missed threes and give them more
Yeah.
opportunities.
And his rim protection as well, shot
Yeah,
blocking in the pick and roll. And another one who, like, oh, you and I both are never fans of him, but always pointed out how his impact is so undervalued. Draymond Green.
yeah.
Draymond Green is the main facilitator on that team.
Hmm.
We saw he wasn't there with them when they played the Bucks, and we saw how terribly they played. Like there was a 20-point gap, and when Draymond's there, Gary Payton the second, he plays a lot better too.
And he just earned a full salary for this year because he was originally on 10-day contracts. But they
Yeah.
really like him, and now he's going to stay. But
And
the
again,
main,
when you get into the playoffs, like a lot of these opportunities that they're getting is similar criticism that the Bucks have gotten in the past, how they thrive in transition. Like this is a regular season, it's easy to get out in transition, spread the floor, and get open for those shots. But in the postseason, when they're getting back and like having to run those half court sets, it's not going to be as easy for them to like get those threes up.
yeah, it's nice to be able to shoot threes from 10 feet behind the 3 point line, but it's not sustainable to the point where you could be doing that every game because there's going to be teams that approach it differently defensively, and there's going to be games where you miss the entire game. So you need to be able to have an offense that is outside of that is sustainable and is going to get you points. So that's why I feel like James Wiseman is going to have a huge impact when he returns. I feel like that they're going to feed the ball more to guys like Wiggins and Jordan Poole, especially since Clay is going to be more on the outside.
Yeah.
And Draymond Green's going to probably facilitate for a majority of that. But they don't want to be like the Rockets when the Rockets blew the series versus the Warriors. What were they, 0-27 from three? They just
Yeah, and
insisted
yeah,
on
Michael
continuing
Jordan
playing that game. They had no
was
sustainability in
great.
anywhere else on the court. And they don't
Yeah,
want to
they
be that team. They don't want to be one dimensional. Um,
yeah,
and I think Steve Kerr's smart enough to realize that he can't um, win a championship solely off of 3 point shooting.
absolutely.
What else you got? I think we got time for one more topic.
Yeah, okay. We could the Atlanta Hawks struggles. This one is a huge surprise.
They're
It's
talented.
yeah, because they're essentially the same team that they were last year, but now they're not in the playoff fold. Like they've fallen off a lot. I mean, Trey's putting up the numbers like he always has. Um, and their team is healthy. They're young, but where are they right now? They're the 12th seed. They're below the New York Knicks. They're I'm sure Knicks fans like love that actually, but
Sixers
yeah,
fans too.
Yeah, they're in the 12th spot. Hey, but Trey was bowing from at the Knicks.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
By the way, the Warriors are up 20 on the Bulls. But
Okay.
I want to say, in terms of the Hawks, I feel like it's a matter of complacency. I feel like they realized how successful they were last year and how good they could be. And now they just feel like, well, we could do that on any given night. But it's a sense of complacency, and they don't really feel the need to go above and beyond. I feel like John Collins is still playing really well, as is Trey Young.
Yeah.
But you're not
Yeah. I'm.
getting as much of an impact from guys like Herder, who are, I don't know. And
Yeah.
now
I'm
you
looking.
traded Reddish away for a first round pick, so you basically admitted that you're not trying to go anywhere this season.
I'm looking at his stats right now. Trey's averaging 28 points per game. Let's see, not in nine assists per game. He's 90% from the free throw line, 37% from three, 45% for the field. I think. Um, are those career highs in all those categories? Yeah, pretty much all of them except his points per game. But he's playing more efficient and everything than he has in past years.
I just,
So I just don't understand it.
well, and something else that's been really bothering me is that, like, Danielle Hunter is not getting any minutes. He's coming off the
Yeah,
bench.
that's a
And
good point. He was another one of their main shooters last year too.
he's a good player, but they insist on starting Caleb Martin, who's done well. I mean, he's averaging. Oh, I'm not sorry, not Caleb Martin. That's thinking about the Heat. Um, they uh, Okongwugu. I can't pronounce his name, but he averages 9 points a game. He's 21. He's young, so they're trying to
Is
get
his name
development out of
was
him.
it? Oh wait, no, it's a different player I was thinking of.
And then um Luwawu Cabaret, who's a rookie as well. But they're starting these guys in the games, and Daniel Hunter is getting like 20 minutes off the bench. He's scoring like 15 a game in the process. And it's like, you have to understand he needs more time. He should be a starter full time. You're taking minutes away from him, which I think genuinely makes no sense. Um, Herder's been playing, but he's not playing well at all. It's tough. I think they're lacking in a lot of problems. Bogdanovich has been okay. Reddish was their fourth leading scorer, and he's gone. So,
Yeah, that's a huge loss for them.
but the fact that Hunter and Herder are down to averaging 10 points a game, Gallinari's down to like 9. Lou Williams is averaging 6 points a game in 27 games. They're having these other guys play because they think that's going to help, but it's not doing anything. I
That
think
is
that they got to
so
just
weird.
keep changing their lineup until they
That
find
is
something
so
that
weird
clicks.
to think. That's so weird to think about though. Like Lou Williams averaging 6 points a game. Like, what? After he left the Clippers, he just couldn't play anymore.
I'm sorry, but that starting lineup every game, it should be it should be Trey Young. It should be Bogdan Bogdanovich at shooting guard. It should be
Yep.
Daniel Hunter at small forward. And then your
Hmm.
power forward should be John Collins. And then your center's Clint Capella. And the first person off your bench should be Kevin Herter. And then the second person off your bench should still be Danilo Gallinari. And then you can have other guys like Okongwu and I keep forgetting the guy's name. Luwawu, who's the rookie, come off the bench. Like, those guys are not starters. Keep those 5 people. Like, Hunter's great, and he's not getting any chance. I wish we could have traded for him too, because he's better than he's showing. Because he gets no minutes. Same with Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish only started 7 games this year. Just let that sink in. Daniel Hunter only started 12 games this year. They have all this young talent, and they're not willing to use it. Cam Reddish averaged 22 minutes a game. Daniel Hunter, 26 minutes a game.
No. Do you think right? So would you say that you attribute the struggles right now to a failure in coaching?
Sadly, and Nate McMillan's usually a good coach, so
Yeah.
especially from last season. Um,
Hmm.
I think that they're probably lacking something else too, and I think that if I go to the NBA team stats, I could probably find it in the final few minutes that we have here. Um, something's not lining up with them, and I'm going to figure out what that is very shortly. Um,
Yeah. I'm looking up too.
They're in top 15 in points scored a game. They are top 15 in field goal percentage. So that leaves one thing that I want to say is probably the issue, and we've talked about this 1,000 times. Let's see. Let's see if it's on here. Okay. The Hawks are 15th in rebounds per game. So they're still getting boards.
They're somewhere around the league average then. 15 out of 30 teams.
They're second in turnovers, and giving up turnovers. So they're not turning over the ball either.
Yeah.
So
it's the rotations.
They're also third to last in fouls a game. They've been fouling too many people.
Boy.
They're. Oh wait, maybe that's third least. Oh, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't. I guess their rebounding is okay, but it's not good enough. And their shooting has been good. I think it's a matter of finding the right rotations and seeing who should come off the bench and win and who should be on the court at the same time. Because they're probably losing margins when bench players come in.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Also, in opponent points, they're 25th in the league in giving up points.
That means they're giving up a lot.
Yeah. Warriors give up the least amount. The Knicks gave up the 5th least amount. Miami Heat are 4th, by the way.
Of course.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. I think that's good.
All right, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Watch some playoff football tomorrow. Watch some basketball tonight. See what's going on. I think that we have a couple of good games. Depending on when this video gets to you, nothing too good coming on tonight, really. Kings versus Rockets. Mavericks versus Grizzlies. See if the Grizzlies can extend their win streak to 12. That should be good. Knicks versus Hawks tomorrow. Anyone interested? Cam Reddish gets to play against his old team. In Atlanta as well. Sixers versus Heat. Might be a good game for you. That's tomorrow. Can use some of those free betting funds. And then the Joker plays against LeBron and the Lakers tomorrow night. So a few good games trickled in there. Celtics will go and blow another game against the Bulls tomorrow. Raptors versus Bucks too, which Raptors been on a pretty good success streak. So we'll see where that goes.
Anthony Davis should be returning soon. I could tell you estimated time in 1 second. And please, AD, come back already because I need you for my fantasy.
Never heard of him.
Let's see. For at least. Oh, wait, no. He said the knee will be evaluated next week.
Oh.
The Lakers are expected to continue playing small ball with LeBron James. That's small ball. I forgot. They've had LeBron playing center all along. Hey, all right. So LeBron's the best center in the league.
I also want to give a quick update to all of you fantasy participators. We're up to 10-2. We are on a 9-game win streak, the best win streak in the league so far at the moment. As you may all recall, I took out Maxey point guard number 1, Anthony. Dropped him to 11-1, but he's back on his streak, so he's back to the funny business at the top of the leaderboard in his division. And I am in second in my division because someone is also 10-2. But we are cooking. We have the second most points in the league. We have Klay Thompson back. We are 2 months away from getting Kawhi back. you know what? We're feeling good. We got DeRozan killing it. We got Trae Young killing it. We have Jason Tatum killing it. We have Franz Wagner, Rookie of the Year candidate, killing it. Jared Allen killing it.
I
John
don't know why
Collins
you.
killing it.
I don't know why you're so excited about Kawhi, because you know he's gonna be load managing when he comes back.
Hey, you know what? He can load manage on my bench every once in a while. It's better than him sitting on the ER. We have, if we include Kawhi and Klay Thompson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 All-Stars on our team.
Wow.
Trae, DeRozan, Tatum, Middleton, John Collins, Klay, and Kawhi. I had the 11th pick. Remember that. 11th pick in the draft.
You know, it's funny how we have the fantasy broken up East versus West, and it's just so accurate, especially to our times in high school, like the disparity between the two. Because your conference, the West, is so much more competitive. You guys just have better win records. Well, mine, I have a negative record right now. Well, of course, mine was rigged with between load management, KD getting himself ejected from games, COVID, and injuries. But I'm third in my conference with a 5-7 record,
Uh,
and
uh,
on in the other in Ev's conference, the person who's third is 9-3.
wait, I need to have a talk with a couple of players here. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this goes out to Rommel, Menelik,
Ramel, yeah.
or sorry, Ramel, Menelik,
Mhm.
Hayden, Brandon, my friend Sean, Donovan, Orlando, and Justin. You guys need to step it up. You know, it's listen. You guys are under 500, but the playoffs are coming, and no matter the record, you sneak in there. That record doesn't mean anything once you're in the playoffs. But you guys, you know, I know your teams are capable of more. You know, you guys can bring out the best. And listen, when I get
Don't
into the
tell.
playoffs, I want to be the best. But to be the best, I want to beat the best.
All right, so if you want that to happen, how about you do us all a favor, or screw the rest of them, do me a favor and tell COVID to go away.
Listen, I'm trying. You know, I think your problem is you took a couple too many in the Lakers.
That's not even it, to be honest, because look at who I have out. I could be getting some CJ McCollum. All right, and Derrick Rose is out injured.
I'm
Anthony
more
Davis
talking about Dwight
out.
Howard and Carmelo.
Yeah,
I
those
couldn't tell you to not take Anthony Davis. That's different.
Yeah, but even them, like they're not my problem, to be honest. Where I struggle, because keep in mind, like all of last month, no, the last like two past 2 months, John Morant was injured as well.
I'm, you know, and to the
If
people that I
everyone was
called
playing,
out,
if everyone was playing, I guarantee you that every week I'd have over 1,000.
to the people I called out, maybe with the exception of you, I'm not just calling out your performances. I'm calling out your effort because there's been a lot of 50-point scorers on that bench for a lot of you guys in the middle of these matchups. So that ain't the player's fault.
Yeah.
um, but I mean, hey, you know, we got someone who's at 0-12 and 1-11. It's always time to turn that franchise around.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not me.
And then for a quick update, if anyone is curious, especially those who are in the league, we have 8 teams make the playoffs. Currently, Sean is standing at the 8th seed, so he would be in the playoffs. 7 seed, Justin. I'm just going on first name basis here because I don't know if anyone wants to really their last names to be posted. Um, and then we got Dante at the 6th seed, Chris at the 5th seed, Andrew at the 4th seed, uh, myself at the 3rd seed, um, Team Jam Dunks in the 2nd seed. Sorry, I can't see his name.
Hell, it's not
Joshua. And
yeah.
then Anthony, or Maxi point guard number 1, is number 1 seed. which means that's who Sean will be facing if everything stays as it is in the first round.
AD, KD, CJ, all of you come back to me, please.
The problem is, too, he not only has Steph Curry and Wiggins and Donovan Mitchell.
Well, he has Kyrie too, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, he's got Kyrie, and he's playing now.
Yeah, now I hate Brooklyn for letting him back.
I also want to take a quick second to freak out on Joshua or Team Jam Dunks. Listen, man, I dropped Kevin Porter for 2 days because he was injured, and I needed someone to fill the roster. And you stole him from me, and he's killing it. You know, it's okay though. It's okay.
Oh yeah, no, he religiously studies fantasy. He's watching.
Me too. My eyes are on you. Other than that, though, you got anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Yep. Fun episode again, everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Spread the word to more friends and family. We want to get more fans, more haters. Anyone, just please. We want people watching us.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see how next week goes with playoffs, all-star updates for the rosters, and go from there. And for all of you guys at home, have a good evening, a good weekend, family, love, sports, anything, whatever you got going on. Hope it all goes well. I am going to keep lighting up the scoreboards and carry my fantasy streak into next week. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you all next time.
To me and you, I want you, I love you. Can I touch you, I rub, let me love you. Put my dreams to the side only cause I trust you. Girl, I trust you, I love you.